Tell me who you are and what is your business?
My name is Jay Pryor, and my business is Jay Pryor Consulting, LLC. My tagline is creating conscious leaders. So my commitment is to wake people up to their own power. And so I have a book that I wrote called Lean Inside, 7 Steps to Personal Power. And my work really focuses mostly around that book and the signature process that I have defined that allows people to transform anything in the way of their success. So predominantly, I'm a transformational leader, and that's the work that I do, but I work with companies to create a culture that really works inside their organization, having them use the Lean Inside technology to have their employees take on their lives powerfully so that they're healthy, happy, productive employees. I'm also an out transgender human. I've been out since I was 18 years old as a first lesbian and then transgender man, and now I identify as non-binary. So I've also been doing trainings for LGBTQ trainings in business and life for over 35 years. And so I also go into businesses in terms of the diversity, equity, and inclusion. And now I think the word belonging is really in there, diversity, equity, and belonging. And so I train and consult with CEOs around LGBTQ issues, around even flexing their muscle around using they, them pronouns. And then I also do trainings for schools, businesses everywhere around LGBTQ education.
So tell me how your business has adapted to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, thanks. Predominantly, the way that I often get my foot in the door of a company is through keynote speaking. So speaking is one of my best abilities, and so that's part of my business plan is I get booked to speak, and then the people in the audience generally engage me further. Most people, once they hear me speak, want to go deeper with me. And so I've really been impacted by the COVID-19 because conferences have dried up. I mean, big conferences really don't even exist anymore. So fortunately, the way I've shifted in that arena is that a lot of conferences have gone online. So I've done 2 keynotes. I've got another one next month, virtual keynotes, which are really interesting because I'm giving a speech to my computer screen versus usually 1,000 people who are excited. So it's a big, huge shift in learning and being a good speaker virtually. And I feel like I'm doing pretty well at it. So far, the conferences that I've spoken have been pleased. So that's working. And then, beyond July, part of my business development is to look for virtual conferences and to start shifting my business in terms of speaking to virtual conferences. The other thing that I've done is gone back to a lot more private executive coaching because in the past, a lot of my revenue was through private executive coaching, but I have shifted and I hadn't been doing that as much. So I have kind of gone back to focusing on that part of the business just out of necessity.
So how can people support you and your business right now and in the future?
Well, especially while companies are still staying at home, I'm hoping that, and I think that we had a couple of months where companies are now starting to feel more comfortable about the fact that they're not going to go back to their offices, or they're figuring out a way to stagger offices, things like that. As companies come back and start to get back into more trainings, I can do my trainings virtually. And so everything that I can do live, I can do virtual. I'm gaining a pretty decent muscle and being able to have people on a Zoom call, be able to I have somebody catch the questions as they're coming in so they can feed me the questions, things like that. It's just taken a little bit of a shift to be good at that. So looking at creating culture, creating powerful employees who are committed to being great employees by taking on their own wellness and happiness. And then that diversity piece, look no further if you're looking for diversity than here, because I can do, not only I do the LGBTQ piece, but I also have consultants that work with me that do the race piece. So Jay Pryor Consulting can take on the entire diversity, equity, and inclusion piece for companies easily with my other consultants.